like still life of this kind because of its concentration. There's an intensity, it really gets drawn into the subject. And often when I've finished something, when I set it up so that it just feels right. It just feels right. But then when I finish the painting, the geometry becomes clearer then, and I can see parallels and triangles and the way it works visually. But this is just, in setting it up, just instinctive. I don't like still lifes that are cluttered, too much going on. I like a certain sense of concentration or austerity, and you can concentrate on the geometry of the thing then. If it's not too cluttered, they actually take on personality then. I mean, I think of each of these pairs, it's going to be like a totally different individual pair. This paint's dry as soon as it's down, so you've got to be pretty sure what you're doing. So it has to be pretty well thoroughly planned out with minor adjustments as things go. It's a disciplined way of painting. A lot of the things I like to paint, you can't buy them in the condition that I like to paint them. With the greenery still on them or stalks intact. It's an important part of the subject to me. But if you go to buy them from a greengrocer or a supermarket, they've usually cut all the best bits off. Also, you get less conformity with homegrown stuff. Less uniformity, so you've got more variation and interest. But I see the same themes recurring over and over. They're like parallels. It's not a conscious thing, it's just the way I react. But there are certain subjects and themes that keep coming back year after year. It's almost seasonal. Some things will grow in the garden, and I'll do it one year when it's ready. A year later I'll see it, do a different interpretation. I've been looking at them daily, and this is the first harvest after several months of growing. But they've come on well. When I crop the gourds, I like to collect a variety of them, and then initially do a series of small paintings, perhaps individual studies of the gourds just on their own. And then when I've familiarised myself with them, put together a group, maybe 5 or 6 in a row, rather like the row of pears that I did earlier in the year. And so create a more complex composition after I've done a few individual studies. I like to think that although the influences are from long ago, the paintings have a contemporary feel and something to say about contemporary life, you know? And I think that's inevitable. I mean, I think if you tried to paint a picture that was authentically like a 17th century picture, it just wouldn't come off because you're a contemporary modern person, so it would have that somehow intangible feel to it. Once I start looking at a thing, isolate it, I just cannot help concentrating on it. To the point where sometimes I feel so tired I have to just back off and then come back a little while later because it's like you're seeing too much. But that's just temperament. It's the way I look at things, the way I paint things. Another person would do a different way, but that's just my way. And it connects with that era of still life painting, so I feel in tune with that. The way I work is about emotional response to things rather than intellectualising about them. And I think I respond to objects that I come across and see, things that I witness or happen, and just moments in life. So it's about an emotional response to moments in life and objects come across. Like, for instance, walking past a doorway and seeing an unmade bed and thinking, yeah, that's a terrific subject. It's just an emotional response to something come across. Or walking into a room and the way the light's falling across the wall. an emotional response to that, and a desire to translate that into paint, into an image. I only get impatient when it's not going right. When I feel it's going right, I'm okay with it. If something goes wrong with it and I feel it's not working, I get very impatient then. But just stick at it until it does work. Well, not even thinking, am I being receptive? It's just little triggers go off. More so than I think used to be the case. Years ago I can remember finishing a picture and not being able to think what the next one should be. Whereas now, I can't keep up with the ideas. I write them down as they come and try to prioritise them, but there are always more ideas, more subjects that I can keep up with, which is good.